There is nothing worse than being on stage and not connecting with your audience. My name is Finbar and I have 15 years experience gigging in live music venues. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you how to entertain your audience. Most audiences make up their mind about whether or not they like you in the first few seconds of actually hearing you. So ideally, you want to grab their attention and maintain that throughout the gig. I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can do that. The first thing you should do is always introduce yourself. Under no circumstances should you just start a gig cold by walking on stage, plugging in your equipment, and then just starting to play. If you introduce yourself, even just briefly, this sets the expectation for the gig and it gives the audience kind of a natural way to tune into you. It doesn't have to be very complicated. I usually just say something like, "How are you doing, guys? My name is Finbar. I'm going to be playing for the next 2 hours or so. If you have any song requests, then feel free to let me know and I'll do my best for you." So something very simple like that, it just allows the audience to connect with you from the very beginning of the gig. Number 2, have a strong set list. It's really important to remember that the reason the venue is paying you for live music is because they want you to entertain the customers. And the best way for you to do that is to play songs that they already know so they can sing along to or dance along to. That is the best way for you to connect with the audience so that they have a good time, and this makes the managers happy, and then that means more gigs for you. I recommend having at least 30 to 40 upbeat popular songs that most people can recognize, but of course, the more the better, because the more songs you have, the more song requests you can take from the audience. This will make them happy, and this is the key to getting good tips as well. By the way, if you want my free guide on the top 10 crowd pleasers that you should have in your set list, these are the songs that are requested the most at the majority of my gigs, then click the link in the description and you'll get instant access. Number 3 is talking or joking with the audience. Now, I don't do a huge amount of this, but a little bit can be really helpful to help the audience connect with you and for them to like you. If you can find an opportunity to joke or tease with members of the audience, then this can be a really great way to help them open up to you and like you even more. Now, as I said, I don't do a huge amount of this, but just some examples of small things I can do sometimes, depending on the crowd. They would be things like, if people are requesting songs, for example, and there is a group of people who are being very loud and shouting up songs all the time, sometimes I'll joke with them and I'll say something like, "If anyone would like to request a song apart from this table over here," that is something that often gets a good reaction. People think you're winding them up a little bit, and it usually works in your favor. Something else you can do is, if somebody comes up and gives you a tip, then you could say something like, "If anybody else wants to request a song, feel free to just write it on the back of a £50 note or a $50 note." That's usually something that is quite easy, but tends to get a good reaction. Another example would be, let's say somebody comes up to you and they request a song that is requested all the time, like Wonderwall or Sweet Caroline or something. Sometimes I might say, "I'm sorry, mate, I only play good songs." That's something else that just tends to go down well. People get a good laugh out of it and it makes them like you a little bit more. Number 4 is stop trying too hard to impress people. Now, I know this sounds kind of weird, but I used to do this all the time when I was younger. I would go on stage and I would think, right, I'm gonna nail this difficult song. Maybe it has a rap verse in the middle of it, or it's got a really difficult guitar riff in the middle, and I'm gonna blow people away. But the more I focused on trying to impress people, the less I felt actually connected to the audience. People weren't responding the way I expected because I was so wrapped up in how I wanted to sound. From my experience, I've learned that it's not your technical skills that people pay attention to. Most people in the audience are not actually musicians, and they don't know how difficult or easy a song is that you're playing. What people actually respond to is much deeper and simpler than that. They care about how your music makes them feel. Them being the key word. Often people will come up to me after a gig and they'll be praising certain songs that I played, but oftentimes the songs that they're raving about were ones that were really, really simple technically, like with 3 or 4 chord songs and basic rhythm. And I'm thinking, like, why are they complimenting me on that? Don't they know that I played, such and such a song that was way more difficult? But the truth is, they didn't know or notice. They just care about the song that connected with them. Sometimes you can be so focused on showing off your skills that you forget to just play. The bottom line is you should focus on being in a place of relaxation and presence, and focus on just expressing yourself. Focus on being fully in the music and you'll play with much more authenticity and it'll be way easier for you to connect with that audience. Number 5 is just to smile. Now this doesn't mean smiling while you're singing necessarily. It just means between songs, smile, make eye contact with people. This just makes you seem approachable and it just helps people like you more. If you're happy, the audience will be happy and it just makes it way easier for you to connect with them, and the end result being you entertain them more and you get more gigs at that venue. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe for more similar videos. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you want my free guide on the top 10 crowd pleasers that I recommend you must have in your set list, then click the link in the description and you'll get instant access. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.